US, joining me now are Sebastian, David and Carl, otherwise known as Divo, who are nodding and shaking their heads in furious agreement along with that whole conference, because you've got children, haven't you, Sebastian?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone has the right to have a view on things, and mine is, well, my wife deals very well with it, and myself as well on the plane. We don't give drugs to our kids. We read stories, we settle them down, and if they have to walk around, we let them walk and walk with them. They're quite small, they're twins, 5 years old, and the little one who's 2, Jude. But no, I'm really against that, really against giving drugs to kids. I think it's always the easy way to not deal with our parenting.
Well, David, on the other hand, was giving the thumbs up, but you don't have, you don't have children, do you? You've been disturbed on long flights.
No. I do love children, and I think the idea of creating, as you said, a solution to an issue by just knocking them out doesn't help them deal with A, what's going on inside them, and B, dealing with real life.
Yeah. You're the one that gives drugs to my kids when I'm sleeping.
It's lovely to hear all of you. It's lovely you're getting involved in all of this, but we're not really here to talk about parenting, are we?
No.
We're here to talk about your huge success. I mean, I was just looking at some of the amazing figures. You're the only classical crossover band to reach #1. I mean, you've had huge sales everywhere, but in America, I mean, that must be something to be massively proud of, isn't it, that you managed to cross that barrier there?
That was amazing. I mean, I remember we did the first ever tour, and obviously we went to #1 in America, and then just being in America, walking around in Times Square and see your huge picture that the Virgin Megastore saying El Divo #1, #2 I think it was 50 Cent, #3 Mariah at that time, and it was kind of shocking thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Because when do you think it started with Simon Cowell, didn't it, really? Having this idea that he could make some kind of classical crossover. Do you remember getting the phone call? How did it all come about?
Well, each one of us had a different story and a different experience.
Yeah.
For myself, I was the last one to join the band, and I happened to be in France at the time, working at the Opera Bastille, and just got a call for an audition to be part of, use my operatic voice in not singing opera, and just to see, was the time right to really bring this kind of full-throated singing out in a more popular way, and it took off.
Because you came from classical, but you came from rock, didn't you? I mean, that was your thing.
No, that's not really true. I mean, I've been singing in a rock band when I was a teenager, but when I was 20, after finishing my school education, I started studies as a classical singer and as a music teacher. So I've got all my degrees, and I've been at conservatory for 10 years. So I've been a classically trained singer.
You've got your stripes. We can see that. You've got your stripes in the opera classical world. And Sebastian, did you think it would work initially, or did you think it was a bit crazy?
Well, funny enough, I stepped in the studio. I mean, first of all, I met David in the audition in Paris, and I heard his voice, and I was like, what am I doing here? I'm a pop singer. I don't have this massive vibrato. And we got into the studio for the first time, and I was like, this is too scary. I've got to run off. But somehow... when I got into the studio, I could feel there's so much to learn from my 3 friends here, and it really helped me to get something else that I didn't have in the pop world. So I really understand why it brought to many people that curiosity about opera. So.
Yeah, and 10 years on, I mean, the success is extraordinary. You're now back on your greatest hits tour with someone else. Who have you got tagging along?
Oh.
It's amazing. I mean, we have Katherine Jenkins. She's talented.
Not a bad stowaway.
And beautiful.
It's really hard for you.
Yeah, it's so hard for me. It's so hard. But she's taken, so it's not going to do anything. but yeah, it's amazing because since the beginning, we knew each other since 10 years, but we never performed together, and it's amazing because we have a lot of fun on stage.
Yeah, brilliant. And tell us about the tour generally. Is it your best works, literally, as it says, greatest hits?
Well, it's a selection of a whole evening worth of songs across all of our albums, and Katherine does songs that she's very well known for as well, and we do some duets, and I think that we're approaching this kind of 10-year mark for us in our career, and we really feel like this selection kind of sums up everything we've done to date. And now we're looking at moving into a new direction and having a new focus on the next album, which we're looking to release at the end of this year.
Wow.
And yeah.
We're going to call ourselves the Old Direction.
Old Divo. Old Divo.
And your fans are so loyal. I mean, they follow you everywhere. They love you. They've even tried to get bits off you, haven't they, Sebastian?
I'm sorry?
They've even tried to get bits from you. Haven't they tried to steal items of your clothing?
Oh, yes. Sorry, there's so many stories. Yeah, one of them was actually sitting on the edge of the stage. We were singing the song. So fan obviously came to the stage and took one of my shoes, run off with it, and I auctioned the other one for ANTM with my charity. So that was quite fun. But finishing the show with one shoe was quite uncomfortable, but quite funny as well.
Well, it's brilliant. Good luck with the tour. Good luck with the album.
Thank you very much.
It's been lovely chatting to you.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Time now for you.